What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Breakthrough channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is your second, third, fourth, fifth, or however many times, welcome back. In this video, I will be showing you how to set up your first Minecraft world or your second Minecraft world or however many hours you have on the game, how to set up your Minecraft world long term. Whether you're playing survival, whether you're playing hardcore, this guide will work just fine. I will be playing in hardcore, specifically because it's the same as survival in terms of like things to do and whatnot. It just makes it a little bit more relatable if you want to play on hardcore and he's on survival and it's like, oh no, it's not the same. Yes, it's the same, but regardless, I will be playing on hardcore because, well, it's the same as survival, just you die, your world's over. Anyways, so to start off, what you're going to want to do is hit single player, and this will bring you to a menu. Now here, for you, it should be empty. This is where all of your previous worlds are stored. So this is where you play on them, edit them, copy them, delete them, whatever. But we want to hit create new world in the bottom right. Here, we can name our world, change our game mode, and select our difficulty. There are 3 game modes: survival, hardcore, and creative. Creative is for building, and you're essentially it's like God mode. You have everything and nothing can hurt you. But for survival Minecraft, we're going to stick for survival and hardcore. So for survival mode, there is 4 difficulties. There's normal, hard, peaceful, and easy. Easy, normal, and hard are essentially the same, but with different little aspects to them. You can read the differences between easy, medium, and hard on the little pop-up next to your cursor. But for peaceful, this means that the only mobs that spawn in the game are ones that either do not attack or the ones that are needed to beat the game to get to the final boss fight. But peaceful does not give you the full experience for the game, so if you want to actually play Minecraft how it's intended, play easy, normal, or hard mode. But for me, I'm going to be playing hardcore. In hardcore, it's automatically locked on hard mode, and the only difference between hard mode survival and hardcore mode is if in hardcore mode you die, your world is deleted forever. So after you select your difficulty and whatnot, over here is a seed generator. Now you can look up a perfect seed that you want. You can go on Google and be like, seed that spawns you next to a village, or seed that spawns you in a really cool place to build, stuff like that, right? Luckiest seed in Minecraft 1 point whatever version you are in. So here, if you want to play on the same world that I am, I'm going to pop up a little number on the screen right now. Just type in that number as is. I'm playing on 1.20.6 as of the recording of this video. So if you want to play on the exact seed, boot up Minecraft in 1.20.6 and then type in this number. And after you type in that number and load the world, you can update to whatever version you're currently on because the world will be the same as mine. Regardless, after you type in the seed, or you don't want to type in a seed at all and you just want a regular randomized world, go back to game and name your world. For me, it's just going to be how to Minecraft. No, very simple. That's what this world's going to be about. It's not going to be a long-term world. It's just going to be a guide world that I play through the game and show you guys how to actually play through it. And after you've selected all your settings and you're comfortable with where you're at, you're going to hit create new world. So now you spawned in your Minecraft world, and your spawn, unless you spawned on the same seed that I'm in, which would be this seed right here, unless you're on this seed right here, you are going to see pretty much something completely different from what I'm seeing. But as of right now, this is a spawn, and this is a spawn that I'm completely comfortable with being in. It's not bad, it's not horrible. So if you are doing a randomized world, what you're going to want to do is get a spawn that you're comfortable with. If you're in the middle of the ocean, you probably don't want to make that the start of your Minecraft world. You're going to want to spawn somewhere kind of where I am. There's trees all around you, you're in a forest, and you're in a biome that you enjoy. Like, I don't mind plains and forest and mountain biomes. I don't mind those, and that's what I'm surrounded by right now. So, as you can see right now, there are no structures around me, but that's fine. I don't mind the exploration aspect of the game. But as you can see, I've loaded the world in, and now we're ready to set it up for the long-term version, or the long-term, run of the game. You're going to be playing this world for a while, and you want to make sure it's set up. So what you're going to want to do is hit escape. And escape will pause your game no matter what, right? It will pause it, so if you're about to die, if you hit escape, the game will not continue to run in the background. So what we're going to do in this menu, in the escape menu, is make sure you're running at a comfortable FPS. So what you're going to want to do is hit escape again, and you'll be back into the game. Now, it depends on what keyboard you're using. If you have an F3 button, hit that F3 button. If you do not have an F3 button, hit the FN button on your keyboard, and then hit the number 3. This will bring up this menu with a bunch of numbers and words on it that you have probably no clue what it means. On the top left, there's an FPS counter. As you can see, I'm running about 200 to 230 FPS on average. So you want that number to at least be 60 FPS. If it's not, we're going to fix that right now. So you close this menu by hitting the same buttons that you hit to get into it. So whether that's FN3 or F3. You're going to go into the escape menu and hit options. Then, once you're here, you're going to hit video settings. And there's 2 settings that we're going to change. So my menu will look completely different from yours because I'm running mods right now. So what you're going to want to do is change your render distance and your simulation distance. So your render distance is how far you can see. So as you can see this mountain, it's probably close to 32 chunks away from me, right over here. And that's pretty much as far as I can see. I can't see much further than that mountain. The simulation distance is how far things will load in. So if I can see that far, and I have my simulation distance at the same distance, a furnace will be smelting at that same distance. But if I have my simulation distance turned down to like 5 chunks, a furnace can only work 5 chunks away from me. And then once I get out of that 5 chunk barrier, it will stop working. So for me, I like to have my simulation distance the same as my render distance, so I know how far things are going to load in and work for me. It's very easy to judge because it's how far I can see. But for you, do whatever you want. Depends on what kind of system you have. You could go up to 32 like me, and you could run it perfectly fine and be running at like 200 FPS like I am. But if you're not and you're struggling to get those FPS, either turn your simulation distance down, turn your render distance down, or turn them both down. But once you find your desired render distance and simulation distance, all you're going to want to do is just make sure that you're hitting at least 60 FPS in the top left, and then you're good. Then you're ready to play the game. So first things that we want to do is we're going to mark the block that we spawned on. Not the exact block, but a general area within a few blocks of where we spawned. Then you're going to want to grab a few dirt blocks or sand blocks or blocks that are next to you where you spawn. And this will mark our spawn chunks. We're going to build a small little tower right here. And we're going to jump off. And it won't kill you. It'll give you a little bit of damage, but you'll heal pretty much immediately. So what you're going to want to do is open that F3 menu again. And then you're going to hit either FN and 2 or F2 on your keyboard. And this will take a screenshot. This is screenshotting the coordinates of where your spawn chunks are at. As you can see, there's an X, Y, and Z coordinate. X is how far left, right, or forward and backwards you are. Z is the same thing. It all depends on which way you're facing. And then the Y coordinate is how high up you are or how far down you are. So those are the coordinates to determine where you are on the world. Once you screenshot this, you're pretty much ready to start playing the game. This shows you where your spawn chunks are. The spawn chunks are always loaded. And since the spawn chunks are always loaded, it's a great place to build your first farms. The farms that are automatic and the farms that you want to constantly be running in the background. Because if they're in the spawn chunks, they will always be running because they're always loaded. So knowing where these spawn chunks are is a great piece of information to know. Now that we've marked this and we have the coordinates in our screenshot file, all that we want to do now is go mine our first tree. So whether that's oak, birch, jungle, acacia, whatever your first tree is, you want to go mine it. Once you have mined the set amount of logs that your tree carries, whether you mine the whole thing or you just grab a few, what you're going to want to do is craft at least 8 planks. Then in this menu, you're going to want to make a 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 thing, and you'll have this little block appear in the crafting icon. Then you're going to want to bring 2 more on the left or the right side. It does not matter. And once you make this pattern, 2 on the left and 1 on the right, or 2 on the right and 1 on the left, you're going to hit shift and then left click. And then you're going to shift and left click again. And this will make you a crafting table and 4 sticks. That's once you place the crafting table down and you go into this menu, it'll bring a bigger crafting menu. This is a 3x3, 9 blocks in total. In this menu, you're going to want to make 4 more planks, and you're going to want to place 2 sticks like this. Then in this menu, or with these planks, you're going to want to place 3 on top, and then make your first wooden pickaxe. This pickaxe is essential to get stone in the beginning of the game, and whether you have exposed stone around you, or if you have exposed stone around you, go mine that real quick. If you don't, what you're going to want to do is either dig straight down for a few blocks or staircase down like I'm doing, and eventually you'll hit stone. As you can see, I have hit stone right here, and what you're going to want to do is just mine 3 cobblestone. Once you get stone, it'll give you an advancement called Stone Age, and once you come back up, go back into the crafting table. Then you're going to want to make the same pattern that you did to make your wooden pickaxe, just with cobblestone on the top. This will give you a stone pickaxe and give you the achievement getting an upgrade. Once you get this, you're going to want to mine about 20 to 30 some cobblestone. And once you get this cobblestone, we'll go back to crafting. Okay, once you have your stone, you're going to want to go into the crafting table and make another set of sticks. Then you're going to want to make a layout like this and like this. You're going to put 3 in the top left or top right with a little L kind of shape, and this will make you a stone axe. And then with that 1 stick left in there, you're going to make a sword. Now, once you have these 3 tools, find the way you want to organize them. I like to organize my tools like this: axe, sword, pickaxe, and then the rest of these are for certain items. You can organize them however you want, whether the sword's in front and the axe is behind it, or your pickaxe is your first slot. Whatever the tool that you want to access the most, or the tool that you will be using the most, put that in your first, second, and third slot, because these are the 3 main tools you'll be using in Minecraft. The reason the axe is so important is because it does 9 attack damage, but it has a slow attack speed, 0.8 attack speed. On a stone sword, it has 5 attack damage, but 1.6 attack speed, and then a pickaxe is just used for mining, and it could be used for self-defense, but obviously you'd much rather use a sword or an axe. So I'm going to explain to you the combat system. So if you hit with your hand, you can see like a little gray icon. It's like a sword. It is a sword. And that will charge up. And when that thing goes to full power, that means you're going to do the max amount of damage you can with whatever's in your hand. So if I were to hit with my axe, it's going to take a while for that sword to charge back up to full power. If I were to hit with my sword, it goes way quicker. So the sword does less damage, but does more damage quicker. The axe does more damage, but takes way longer to hit. So the reason I have my axe as my first slot is because if something's attacking me, I usually like to get a crit hit on it, and then finish it off with my sword. What a crit hit is when you jump off of a block or jump onto something, where you jump down and come down on it, and that will do a critical hit. I'm going to explain on these horses over here.
No! God, please, no!
Okay, so a regular hit looks like this. It's just going to hit the animal, and they're not going to like it. A crit hit looks like this. Did you see all the X's fly everywhere? That's what a crit hit. So if the X's fly everywhere, you know you have successfully landed a critical hit, and that will do more damage than a regular attack. And it won't take any longer to charge up. All you have to do is jump up in the air and come down. It does way more damage and is well worth your while to jump up in the air. Regardless, now that we have crafted our 3 main stone tools and you've organized your inventory how you want, organize the rest of your inventory. I usually like to keep this slot for food, and then everything else behind it gets just set wherever. So this is food, and then I like to keep blocks in this slot. So my most prominent block is cobblestone, then dirt, then wood, planks, whatever. And then over here, I'll just keep seeds because they kind of relate to food. Anyways, now that we have successfully gotten ourselves tools, if you see at least 3 sheep around you, go kill those sheep immediately. I see 3 sheep over there. Because with those 3 sheep, you can craft a bed and sleep through the first night. And as you can see, the sun is setting right now. So getting a bed would be crucial, because then we don't have to dig under the ground and wait for nighttime to pass. Now the reason nighttime is so scary, especially if you're playing on hardcore mode like I am, is a nighttime hostile mob spawn. And what hostile means is mobs that will attack you and do heavy damage. So whether that's a creeper, a mob that'll blow up instantly, a zombie which kind of just attacks you, or a skeleton that can shoot you with a bow and arrow. It doesn't matter. They still do damage and they can kill you very easily. Now, as you can see, that's how you craft a bed. And once you craft your bed, go to sleep. If you cannot craft a bed and sleep through your first night like I did, what you're going to want to do is just dig a hole in the ground, place a block above you, then make a little hole like this so you can see the sky and judge how far till morning it is, and then kind of just mine cobblestone all night. That's like the only option you have. And that's how you'll survive your first night if there's not sheep around you. If there are sheep around you, then perfect. You can craft a bed and sleep through the first night and save yourself a ton of time. Anyways, so since we were able to sleep through the first night, now we're going to get back to crafting. We're going to craft the things that we weren't able to craft yesterday. So you want to make a furnace. How you make a furnace is you just circle the crafting table with 8 cobblestone like that. Now what a furnace does, it will smelt certain blocks and it will cook food for you. So we're going to put our raw mutton in the top and we're going to put our oak planks in the bottom. And as you can see, this is our flame. The better fuel you put in here, the longer this flame will last. And this arrow is showing how close this mutton is to be cooked. And over here is where the cooked mutton lands. And as you can see, this flame's about to run out, and it used the other plank down there. I'm going to craft my last log and do some planks, and use that as fuel for the furnace so I can cook the rest of this food. While that food is cooking, I'm going to gather more food, because one of the most crucial things in Minecraft, it's not armor, it's not weapons, it's not a shield, it's not anything. It's not a house, it's not a base, it's not items. It's just food. Having a constant food supply, especially in hardcore, means you will not die from starvation. And food is used to regenerate. So I haven't taken enough damage to need to regenerate yet. But when you eat food, it will heal you. So I'll explain that here when I'm done collecting food. But as you can see, I'm just using my axe real quick to one-shot these animals. It's quicker than a sword. And once you collect yourself a decent bit of food, cook it up, and then we're ready to start exploring and get into the nitty-gritty of Minecraft. Okay, now as you can see, I have collected a substantial amount of food. 8 raw beef, 2 raw mutton, 20 raw pork chops, and 10 raw chicken. Now that I've done that, I'm going to take out the cooked mutton that I had in there previously and start cooking the rest of my food. It doesn't matter which order you put it in. All the food types are going to take the same length to cook. So I'm going to explain to you health and hunger here real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump off of a tower to take some damage. I do not recommend doing this because there's no reason, but this is just to prove an example to you guys on how to heal and how healing works in Minecraft Java. So as you can see, I'm down 2 hearts and I'm down 6 of my hunger bars. The hunger bar is on the right side, the hearts is on the left. The hunger bar, it's supposed to be like a meat stick, like a turkey leg on bone. And once those go all the way down, you'll start taking heavy amounts of damage, and on hardcore mode, you can starve to death very easily. So after I eat this food, as you can see, my hunger went up 3 bars. So I can eat 1 more raw mutton, and that'll bring me up to full hunger. And as you can see, once I'm at full hunger, my health will start regenerating. You can regenerate health until 1.5 of your hunger bars go down. So you have 20 HP and 20 saturation points, essentially. And once those saturation points go down, you will start to starve to death. And once your health points go down, you will die, essentially. That's how it works. So you might be wondering, well, there's only 10 hearts and 10 hunger bars. How is there 20 points? Well, in those 10 units, there is a half. So you can have 1/2 of a heart or half of a hunger bar. That's what makes it 20 units. So certain foods will saturate you better. So cooked mutton heals you 3 whole hunger bars. Bread is like 1.5. Most cooked meat is either 3 to 4. Cooked pork chops 4. Beef is 4. Chicken is 3, and raw mutton is 3. So that's kind of just a general thing. And then once you have less than 9.5 saturation, you will not regenerate anymore. Now your health, on the other hand, it does not matter how low your health is unless it goes to 0. It will not affect you at all. You can still run and do whatever. You will not be disabled no matter how low your health is. But ideally, you want to keep your health at full because if you take damage, it's going to give you a higher chance for survival. So keeping your health at full is usually just always a good idea. Regardless, now that we're getting food, we're going to want to make sure we have enough wood to cook it. So just cut down a tree or two near you, and depending on how much food you got, you should be able to cook it all. I'm going to go cut one more tree down, which will be this one, and I'll get back to you guys when my food's done cooking and we can actually start playing the game. Pork chop, what will you do? I've got another stomach for you. Pork chop, what will you do? I have another stomach for you. That was on my phone. Okay, well, that's a first-hand experience on what a zombie is like in Minecraft. So once you kill your first monster, you'll get the Monster Hunter achievement. They drop rotten flesh. They drop a few other things, but they're rare drops. You'll almost always get rotten flesh. The monsters burn in the daylight, other than spiders and creepers. So there's a creeper right there. You can see his little green head poking out. Those are very dangerous. They can one-shot you in full iron armor in this game. And, well, obviously that's not fun. So getting a shield is a good priority to get rid of those since they don't burn. And then spiders don't despawn, but spiders aren't that big of a threat, and they won't attack you in the daytime. So, well, they're not a worry. The skeletons, zombies, and creepers are the only mobs to worry about, and there are no creepers near me other than those two, so should be safe. Anyways, my food is almost done cooking, and it's now done cooking. So what we're gonna do now, I accidentally removed my axe from my hotbar. What we're gonna do now is get into Minecraft. So I was gonna explain the night to you guys, but I kind of just did it already. Once the sun goes down, those mobs start spawning, and they will attack you no matter what. So over here, I spotted it on the first night. There is a village. Now, there's a few things that you can do after you've gotten your food set up and you've gotten through your first night and you're surviving. You screenshotted your spawn chunks. You got everything going for you. Now all you got to do is play the game. You can either set up a base, find a good location, or you can go find a village. For me, I prefer to find a village because you need to do it no matter what. Whether you are, I don't know, at the very end of the game, you've already defeated the final boss, you beat the game, and you kind of just want to trade for enchantments, or you're just starting out. A village is always a great place to go to. So you can either set up your base and just play the game normally, and you can follow my steps without the village, just kind of ignore it, or you go find a village. I highly recommend finding a village because villagers allow you to trade for certain items. So the currency that they use is emeralds, and they will trade certain items for emeralds, and they will give you emeralds for certain items. So that's kind of how the trading works. So over there, you can see a house. At nighttime, they're kind of easier to spot. They will have lights everywhere, and they're essentially just like a giant glowing hill or plains in the distance. So once you run over to the village, I'll show you what to do. And also, you don't have to, but when you see some animals, it might be a good idea to kill them because you'll get food, and food will eventually run out. So always a good idea. I'm going to keep these pigs around, though, because I'll just get them later when they're easier to kill and I actually need to kill them. Another thing I would like to explain. So, as you can see, these animals move very different from how your animals move. Their animation is completely different. That's because I'm running a whole host of mods. Now, while my game looks very similar, only thing that you've noticed that's changed is my menu for my menu for this, and my animals. They move like more realistically and they look better. That's not the only mods I have on here, but the only mods that I do have installed are mods that make the game look better. So if you're worried like, oh, he has new items added into the game, or oh, there's new mobs, No, the only mods I have installed are mods that make the animals move different, mods that make the game look better, textures different, whatever. So those are the only mods that I have. And in fact, I actually kept my shaders off for the start of this video. So I'm going to show you guys what the rest of this series will look like with shaders enabled. So if I go into resource packs, these are all the mods I'm using, by the way. So if you want to like copy how my world looks, I have Crops 3D, Stacked Items, Simply 3D Textures, Bordered Glass, Fabric, which is kind of like the parent mod, you need it, Better Lanterns, Fancy GUI, Invisible Item Frames, Low Fire, Cubic Sun and Moon, Simply, which gives you like a custom menu for crafting tables and furnaces and stuff like that, and then Fresh Animations, which is the one that makes my animals look cool. Anyways. Oop. What I'm going to want to do here is go into shader packs and go to complementary reimagined. I have a bunch of them in here, but the only ones I really use is complementary unbound, complementary reimagined, and bliss shaders. So I'm just going to use complementary reimagined, apply it. And yeah, this is what I prefer my game to look like. As you can see, it moves leaves, lighting is a huge factor in this, and then some textures are enhanced. But as you can see as well, it tanks my frame rate. I went from like 200 to 230 frames to around 80 to 90. So my game looks smooth. My game will look the same smoothness to you guys, but since I'm running on a 240 hertz monitor, my game does not look as smooth to me. Speaking of specs, as you can see on the right side of my screen, my CPU is a Core i5-13600K. At the time I bought it, it was like a $280, $290 CPU, so just round it up. It's a $300 CPU. I am running at 1440p resolution. That's the max that this monitor goes at 240 hertz. And then my GPU is an RTX 3070 Founders Edition. I am on a desktop, so if you have a laptop with a 3070, my 3070 will get more FPS because since we have the same CUDA core, mine will be higher voltage, therefore it can clock speeds higher. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now, you can just skip through this section of the video. But my RTX 3070 I bought for $300 used. It's a $600 GPU. So that just gives you kind of a scale on why my game looks so good and what you kind of need to run games like this. Now you can tweak a bunch of settings and get much higher FPS, but at 32 render distance and simulation distance, with shaders on and a bunch of other mods, I'm running at 80 FPS. So that's just kind of show you what this game will look like if you heavily mod. I mean, mine's not even heavily modded, but mod it like I do. Anyways, so now that we have found a village, what we're going to want to do, it's kind of annoying because this village is super hilly, but what we're going to want to do is find the bell. So the bell is right here in this village, but they can be tons of other places. There's usually only one, but sometimes there can be 2 or 3. The bell is usually at a well, and if you find the village well, you can grab it, but that bell spawned right there. So with this bell, the villagers will be alerted that there's a raid coming. Obviously, there's not a raid coming, but with the bell, they will think it is, and they will rush into their houses. So if I ring this, they will rush into the houses. So after he goes in there, I'm going to block up his door. He goes in here, I'm going to block up his door. This is to protect the villagers from hostile mobs that come throughout the village. So zombies only target villagers as their passive mob. But villagers, what you need is to have a large store of them. And if they die, you cannot use them for trade and whatnot. So what your goal is to do is find as many villagers as you can, ring this bell near them, and then trap them inside their houses so monsters cannot get them. And no, they don't need food and water and stuff to live. All they need to do is essentially just be trapped inside of a house or a box. So whether they're standing still and you can kind of just box them up, or they go inside a house, that's a perfect place for them. And then you kind of just box them up. So what you're going to want to do is just trap as many villagers as you can, and that's what I'm going to do here, and I'll get back to you guys when I'm done with that. Okay, now that you've trapped a large portion of villagers, I probably trapped 5 or 6. Once you've trapped those, what you're going to want to do is whip out your crafting table, and then, oh, I don't have cobblestone. And you're going to want to make sure you have at least 2 cobblestone, and then with that cobblestone and 2 sticks, you're going to make a stone hoe. This is a farming tool typically, and it's used to till grass or dirt like this, and then you can plant seeds on it like that, and that will give you the achievement of seedy place. But we're not going to farm right now. This hoe can also be used to mine hay bales more efficiently. And hay bales are wheat, 9 wheat per bale, that were used in a block form, and they were placed down by the villagers. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mine all the hay bales you can find in the village, as well as these farms. Now these farms, they might have a villager working at them, and the villager will be near this. If there's a villager working at them, or not, you're just going to want to destroy this workstation, and then you're going to want to break all the crops. Now, the villagers might try to pick up the crops. What you're going to want to do is prevent them from doing that, whether that's hitting them out of the way, or pushing them, or trapping them in a hole preemptively. But you're going to want to get as many crops from the farm as possible. So just find those farms, get all the crops from them as well as the composter, or go find hay bales and break them with the hoe, and that will give you even more food for the middle to late game. Okay, I've collected all of the farms and all of the hay bales in my village. It was the ones that you saw me collect. I only have 14 hay bales, some wheat seeds, a beetroot seed, some potatoes, and some carrots. So the potatoes and carrots you can plant as is, I mean. So it's the same as a seed, but you can also eat the carrots. You cannot eat seeds. So since I only have a few potatoes, a few carrots, and 1 beetroot seed, I'm going to want to save these, because as wheat, you can break grass and get seeds. These potatoes, carrots, and beetroot seeds are incredibly hard to get outside of just finding a village. So you're going to want to keep these, at least 1 of each. Ironically, I have 1 beetroot seed. Anyways, these hay bales, on the other hand, can be used to craft wheat in your inventory or in the crafting table. So each hay bale contains 3 bread. 3 wheat is used to create 1 bread, and since there's 9 wheat, there's 3 bread per hay bale. So that means I have 3 times 14, whatever that is, in wheat. Or not wheat, hay bales, or bread, sorry. So this is more of a backup food supply. So since I have tons of cooked food in my inventory right now, these hay bales I will save for when I truly need them. They are less valuable than this cooked food, but they are harder to get because you need a village to do it, or you need to farm them. And since I'm not farming right now, I'm just going to keep them in my inventory. But what day are we on? Let's check. We are on day... I forget where it is. Day 3. We are on day 3 of this Minecraft world. So now that we're on day 3, we found a village, and we've trapped some of the villagers, and we've looted a decent portion of the village. What we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to find an area to build our house. Now, you're going to want to build somewhat close to the village. Whether it's like 100 blocks out, 200 blocks out, you don't probably want to go further than 300 blocks away from the village. Because, well, you're going to have to run that distance every time you have to come back to the village. Now, sure, once you make other forms of transportation, whether that be a horse or a rail cart system or whatever, once you get later into the game, the village will be easier to get to. But since we're just running around and walking right now, it's going to be incredibly arduous if we were going to build all the way over there to walk all the way to here. That's a ways. So build decently close to the village. So scout out the area. That's what I'm doing right now. Just looking around to see where I want to build. And once you find a place that you would, like to build, and it's near enough to your spawn chunks as well, that's a good thing to notice. So my spawn chunks, I can't see the tower right now, but it's somewhere over there-ish, right? And I don't need to access the spawn chunks constantly. Now, if I do want to access the spawn chunks, I can go over there. But the village, I'm going to need to access more frequently, especially as we get trading things and we get a little bit more into the game. But since I don't need to build any farms right now... Oh, there's another village over there. Actually, on second thought, if you... Oh, there's a third village. Damn. Okay. There's a lot of villages here. I'm actually going to go loot that village and loot that village, and I will explain to you looting houses, because all of these houses here, besides one that I don't even need to loot right now, they have chests in them, but none of these houses have actually chests. Or one did, but I didn't even loot it because I didn't want to waste my time with it. So I'm going to run over to that village real quick, and I will show you how to loot villages, and I'll trap some more villagers, because if this village, if I can't find it, or all the villagers die somehow, or the game glitches and they all disappear, I would rather have another village to fall back on. And I kind of like the location of that village more, because it's not as hilly and it's easier to get around in. So I'm going to go over to this village, and hopefully it'll be better than this last one. And if it's better, then I'll build near here. So I'll see you guys when I get back, or when I get to that village. Okay, I'm back at this village, and oh wow. That's actually really lucky. So there's a lava pool here, and that'll become super useful later in the game. I'm gonna try to stop it spreading and burning all these houses down, because I would prefer the village to not burn down. So you can see there's stone, like, that you would find underground right here. These lava pools generate stone around them. They don't generate with grass beside them. So the game glitched out, and since there's a house here, it thought this was ground and built stone up on the side of it, which is actually pretty cool. Anyways, so in here, there's nothing too special. There's no chests or anything, but there is a furnace. If you want the bricks for a building, you can get the bricks too, but this blast furnace is a workstation, and workstations are pretty valuable, especially a blast furnace. They're kind of annoying to craft. Anyways, in houses like these, all that there will be is a bed, and since we don't need to loot beds yet, I'm just not going to grab it and not fill my inventory up with it. But in houses like these, there's a chest. And in that chest, there can be tons of loot. As you can see, there's bread, potatoes, apples, tree saplings, and emeralds in here. So instead of just picking all the loot out of there by hand, I'm just going to break the chest, since I want all of that, and then just collect what's in the chest, and now it's in my inventory. Okay, so houses like this have loot in them, at least a loot chest. Houses like this have loot in them. This is an iron golem, by the way. So this iron golem, if you hit a villager, he will get angry. I did not see an iron golem at the last village, so that's why I was hitting villagers willy-nilly. But if you hit him, he will 2 or 3 shot you, depending on how much fall damage you take. He'll throw you up into the air and you'll fall. His job is to guard the village, but he can only do so much, so that's why trapping the villagers in their houses is usually the best plan, or the best course of action. But yeah, he's strong, and if you don't need him around, you can kill him for iron, but I'm going to leave him here because I don't want to constantly try to protect this village. So we're going to leave him around for now. Anyways, so houses like this have loot in them. It's the same house as last time, just in a different location. So that house has loot. This house has loot. This is a choreography house. It has a choreography table. That's used to make maps and make custom maps and whatnot. This chest has maps, typically, and some bread, stuff like that. This house has no loot. This house does have loot. It has the blast furnace in it, which again is annoying to craft. It needs iron and stuff, and special smelted stone, which I don't want to make right now. This house does not have iron. That stair is messed up for some reason. This house does not have loot, and then this house does not have loot. There are hay bales back here, though. This house has loot. So this is a Fletcher's house. These are some of the rarer Minecraft houses. This is a fletching table, which is one of the most useful workbenches in the game. And the reason why is because they will trade you sticks for emeralds, which is an extremely overpowered trade. So again, just grab hay bales and stuff. And I'm trying to find a blacksmith house. A blacksmith, you'll see 2 furnaces out front, a grindstone, and some 2 pools of lava, as well as some iron bars. I'll pop up a photo of what a blacksmith's house looks like right now. But if you see one of those houses, they do have a chest in there. And if you see that house, go into that chest, and that chest has the best loot in a village. They can have diamonds, they can have iron weapons, they can have iron tools, armor, stuff like that. So those are typically the best villages to find, or the best houses to find. Anyways, So I've looted this whole village, and I'm going to begin trapping villagers, and I'll get back to you guys when I'm done doing that. Okay, so I have trapped most of the villagers in this village, but I want to explain a few villager types to you. So there's three types of villagers. There's more than 3 types, but there's 3 main types. There's this guy who has no profession. He just has a brown robe on, and he has nothing special about him. He is a basic non-employed villager. So he can take any job, and he'll work just like any other villager, and he's pretty typical, right? And you'll find a few of these guys, but most of them typically have jobs. Now, a nitwit is different. He'll look like a regular villager, but he will have, like, green on him. I saw one over here. Let me see if I can find him. He will have, right there, he'll have green on his top half and down his back. Now, these guys are called nitwits, and they're essentially like the dumb villager. They cannot take jobs, they cannot work, and they do not work like a regular villager. These guys, I think they don't even sleep at night. I don't think they sleep at all, actually. So they are kind of just more of a waste of space than anything else. They're pretty much useless. They don't do anything. So if you see a villager, don't even waste your time trapping these guys, because if you even give them a bed to sleep in, they won't sleep in it, and they'll just take up space. So I'm still going to trap him, though, because, you know, he's actually really easy to trap there. They typically aren't. They usually kind of just run around, and they don't do anything. Anything a typical villager would do. Here's another one. There's a regular villager. So that's one that we do want to trap. So let me see if we can trap him here. The bell strategy. But yeah, so nitwits are villagers that you do not care about. But since he walked in that house, we're just going to keep him in there. So those are the 2 types of villagers. And then there's a 3rd type, which is one's employed. So it's a regular villager. It's one with brown robe. He looks regular. But he has special characteristics. Whether it's a librarian and he's wearing glasses, it's a Fletcher and he has like an arrow through his hat, or it's like a blacksmith where he has an eye patch, or stuff like that. Those guys are the ones that you can trade with. These villagers, they don't have anything special about them right now, other than they're just basic. So those are the 3 main types of villagers, and there's a bunch of different classes of villagers that sell you and trade you different things. But yeah, that's just the basic explanation of villagers in Minecraft. And we just trapped that guy pretty easy there. So other than the one farm, I have looted this village pretty much its entirety. And I think I definitely like this village more than the other one, mainly because it's not all hilly, and it's more enclosed, and there's an actual iron golem here to protect it. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to build up there, and if I don't build up there, I'll build somewhere around here. Whether I'll build on the other side of the lake, or on that hill, I don't know. But I do like that flat part of the mountain right there. And it's kind of a cool mountain. It looks kind of weird, and I'll probably terraform it a little bit. And there also seems to be a giant cave right there. I'm not for sure on that, but yeah, we have looted this entire village. I'm going to finish off this farm, and then I'll get back to you guys when I find the next step in Minecraft. So unfortunately, I was wrong about this being a big cave. It's just a small little pool of water. It did generate as an underwater cave, because as you can see, there's magma blocks in there. And magma blocks only generate in the nether, which is a different dimension within this game, or underwater in the ocean, or in underwater caves. And obviously this is not a cave, but it generated as one. This game thinks it's a cave. Anyways, it's turning nighttime right now. I'm just going to sleep out here, and I'll get back to you guys when I'm starting to set up a base. Okay, so I have cleared out some of the grass just in this little section right here. And I've determined that this is a spot that I do want to build. But there is a little bit of terraforming that I need to do. And by terraforming, that's like dirt work and stone work and whatnot. Essentially, I need to flatten this ground down to this level. I want it to be essentially pretty much smooth right here. So I need to dig this plot of dirt, or this clump of dirt out along this line, kind of. So I need to dig that out and make it flat. And then I need to flatten this little part out right here. But the reason I like this is because, well, there's a good supply of trees. It's flat. It's elevated, so I kind of can see everything. As you can see, I can see way further out there, and I could see some weird mountain generation, stuff like that. But yeah, I do like this spot. I can see way out in front of me. There's a good supply of trees right there. And once I dig it out, it should be plenty of room to build, and it'll be a good flat plot of land. Anyways, so I'm going to craft a few chests here, and I'll cut back to when I start crafting them, and I'll explain chests to you guys. Okay, so I have 5 oak logs right here, and I'm going to explain chests. Chests are these things right here, and they have an entire inventory like this. This is a hotbar. It does not count as part of your inventory. This is your inventory. This is your hotbar, even though you can still store stuff in it. A chest has 1 full of these, so a 3 by like 9, I think that is. So a 3 by 9 storage system. Now, 2 logs makes 1 chest is a good rule of thumb to go by. So if I have 5 logs, that means I can make 2.5 chests. But since you can only make a chest and you can't make half a chest, I can only make 2 chests. So since I have 5 logs, I'm going to craft all of these into planks, and then I'm going to make a chest just like this. It's the same pattern as a furnace, but with oak planks or birch planks or whatever type of planks you're using. So I'm going to create these 2 chests, and now I have 5 chests. And with these 5 chests, I can place them down like this, right? And it's just a singular chest. Like I said, same size inventory, and you can store absolutely whatever you want in here. But there's a thing in this game called a double chest, and it's like this, and it's 2 of those inventories put together. So it's a chest, a regular chest, but 2 of them in one, and you just connect them together. Now, if you want a chest where it's side by side but not connected, what you can do is crouch and place it on the ground. And if you crouch and place it on the ground by hitting shift and then placing it, you can have 2 individual chests. So that's kind of how you do that if you're building something and you want to be that way. And you can do the same in the middle. And no, there is no triple chest. If I were to place this in the middle, it would only connect to 1 of the chests. It cannot make a triple chest. A double chest is as big as it goes. So anyways, that's kind of storage. 2 logs per 1 chest. And I'm just going to put a few chests down over here to where I won't be digging out. And I will just store some of my items in here while I'm digging out this land. And when I'm done digging here and I get, a base starting to get set up and whatnot, I'll explain some base building tips to you guys. And then, yeah, that will be the end of the episode. So I'll see you guys when that's done. Okay, we're back. I just finished flattening out all the land here. And I dug out this section that was here. And I dug out this section that was here. And I moved a lot of the grass, that stuff. And I also filled in this section, removed all the stone, and then I filled in this section, which was just a block lower. And it goes all the way back to back here. And I found a massive ruin portal down there, which I will go loot and explain that to you. There's a cherry biome over there, which I will definitely get some saplings from coming up here. And there's pumpkins on the mountain for some reason. I didn't know they could spawn on mountains, but they can apparently. And then I found some exposed iron here. So I'm going to explain to you guys exposed ore. So I found some coal while I was digging out the stone right in here. And if you guys find coal or iron, coal looks like that, and iron looks like this. They all look essentially the same. It's just stone with little bits in there. And then they just change colors essentially. So the ores will look different, but they will not be the exact same color. So they're very easy to tell apart from each other. So this is iron, that's coal. These are the 2 most common ores that you will see. So iron's super useful because it can craft tools and stuff. Coal is more useful for just like, I don't know, smelting, I guess, is its biggest purpose. Smelting, and there's a few crafting recipes that involve it. But iron's super useful because you can craft tools, armor, shields, and a bunch of other little things that iron is super useful. That's why an iron farm is extremely helpful, especially one that's going 24/7. So in my spawn chunks, I am a little ways away from them right now. I'm probably, what's my coordinates now? I'm 700, negative 900, so I'm probably around 1,000 blocks away from them. But if I get a horse here, it shouldn't be that far of a drive at all. or journey, I guess. You can't really drive in this game. But I just smelted this iron down, and that'll give you the acquired hardware achievement, and I'm going to craft a shield. So a shield is probably one of the biggest and best investments that you can make in this game. It doesn't take much iron at all, and all you need is, what is that, 6 planks and 1 iron. And with that, you can make 1 shield, and it goes into your off slot here. I hit F to put it in there. If you're holding something in your hand, you can put it in your offhand, and you can put pretty much anything there. But the shield goes in your off slot, and when you right click, you'll hold it up, and you can crouch, you can jump, you can do whatever with it. You just walk super slow. As you can see, I'm barely moving with the shield up. But this will protect you from all damage, but the damage that it would have done to you, it goes on the shield. And then once the shield breaks, you have to craft another one. So the shield does have durability. However, this can protect you from creeper blasts, zombie attacks, pretty much every form of damage that other than like magic and lava and stuff like that. So potions from witches and stuff. But it can also block arrows from skeletons and stuff like that, and it actually deflects the arrow. So if somebody was to shoot an arrow at me, it would bounce off the shield back at them. So whether that's a player or a skeleton or whatever. So that's why a shield's super useful, especially in blocking creeper attacks, because if the creeper's about to blow up, you just hold your shield up, it'll blow up the ground around you, but you won't take any damage. Your shield will take a little bit of damage. So that's super nice, and that's why when I get some iron at the start, I always make a shield. So we will go make an iron farm next episode and probably go mining a little bit if I can find a cave here. But yeah, I was going to build a base. Actually, no, change of plans. I'm still going to build a base. It's not going to be anything lavish. It's just going to be probably a circle base with 1 or maybe 2 levels to it right here. And then I'll be able to store all my stuff inside. And then next episode, I'll go over lighting up your area and building a wall. If you've ever watched Luke the Notable's 100 Days, you know that one of his biggest things to do and survive in hardcore Minecraft is to build a wall, or just survive in Minecraft in general. So building a wall is pretty much his forte. It's his trademark. So I don't think a wall is really necessary. What I do think is necessary is light, because a wall protects things from getting in, but if everything around you is lit up, you don't need a wall to protect you. So hence the reason why I just light up an area. I really don't build walls unless like it's on an area that I don't want to light up. So that's what I do in my Minecraft worlds. But yeah, I'm going to build this base here, and I'll get back to you guys when it's done. Okay, we're back, and I've finished the house, and I've gotten the area cleared and all that, and I've gotten all of my stuff put in here, as well as some extra chests and whatnot. And then if we come out here, same, I'll kind of just flatten and remove some more grass, but other than that, nothing else has changed. That was pillagers, went away, they went somewhere down there and probably despawned. But anyways, the house is done, and I've accomplished pretty much everything I want to in this video. But let me explain a few more things, since if you're watching this video, you're probably brand new to Minecraft, or relatively new, or forgot some things and you want a refresher. So this base has 4 doors. It's in a circle, and since this area is not lit up, or it has no wall around it, or it's not extremely secure, the 4 doors is really useful, so I don't have to circle the base to get in. I can just enter from pretty much any point. The only point I can't enter in is from the corner, like right here. This cobblestone pillar, which is on every side. But it's way easier to run from there to there, or there to there, rather than from here where there's no door all the way around to the front where there is. It'd just be super annoying. And if I only use these 2 doors, it doesn't matter, because these are still a safety feature. Anyways, so I also have a bunch of different workstations here. I got another iron ingot from a zombie. If you don't know, iron ingots can drop from zombies. It's a pretty rare drop, so the fact that I got it is pretty impressive. But I used the iron ingot that I had left and the iron ingot I got from the zombie to make a smithing table. And this is where you either decorate netherite armor, or armor in general, or you make netherite armor. So essentially you put your template in here. So you put whatever you want in here, then you put your ingot, and then your armor, and then it'll put the result here. And that's just a super useful table to have. This choreography table, I hardly ever use them. I'm not even sure really how to use them. but I know you can combine maps and make bigger maps, and it'll pop out here. The only thing I don't like is since it zooms out, you get less and less detail. So I only use the basic maps that they give you when you craft them. So those are all that, and then this standard crafting table. Over here, I have a smoker, a blast furnace, and then a regular furnace. So the smoker cooks food faster than a furnace would. The blast furnace smelts ores and I think some stones faster than the furnace would. And then the furnace cooks everything as well as everything that these can't. So the furnace is just an all-round smelter, and then these two can only smelt specific things. So if I were to put sand in this one, it wouldn't work. And if I were to put food in this one, it wouldn't work. But if I were to put anything in this one, it'll always smelt it. If it's a smeltable item. And then in here we have some chests. So this is a stone chest, or like a earth chest, I guess. And here's more of a wooden food chest. And then animal drops, so like wool from sheep and leather from cows. And then up here is valuables. So I keep the wooden pickaxe. Typically, I keep my first wooden pickaxe. If you threw it out or you burnt it as fuel in a furnace, that's fine. But that's why I only mine 3 stone with it, because I like to make a monument to it. And then when I get to the end game, I like to max it out with all the enchantments and stuff. But the most valuable things I have right now is pretty much food, but that goes in the food chest. And then these 3 emeralds, the bell, and then obviously the pickaxe that got us to where we are now. And then in here, it's just all empty. Oh yeah, mob drops, that's what this is. So like hostile mob drops, 1 rotten flesh and 1 gunpowder. And then I got a bed right there, and yeah, it's pretty much the base. There's nothing too special about it. This middle, I don't have lanterns to hang from the top. So when we get enough iron from the iron farm, I'll definitely fill this place up with lanterns. And that's also my plan for the forest out here, is I won't light it up. I'll put some lanterns on the ground to light up this area, and then I'll hang lanterns from the trees. So the forest will all be lit up, and it'll be nice and cool, and there won't be torches everywhere, and I'll light up this mountain and essentially make this place safe for the time being, unless I go out further and whatnot. And then there's the village down there. I know there's another village in that direction somewhere. And then there's the original village over there that I looted. But yeah, as for that, I've completed everything I want to in this video. Oh wait, one more tip. So if you don't know how to craft most of the things in the game, if you're like brand new, if you go into the crafting table and hit this green book, it's a recipe book, and all the recipes in the game are in here. And there's certain categories for certain things, but if you just want, I think it's it gives you like blocks that you're close to crafting or you could possibly craft. But if you search in here, so like let's say I want to make a door and I'm in the weapons section, it won't pop up. But if I go through here, it'll pop up eventually, right? So that's how you know how to craft things. And if you don't know exactly what they're called, you could probably look it up on Google and it'll give you the crafting recipe. But this is a huge help since I recently moved from Bedrock Edition to Java, so I don't know all the crafting recipes off the top of my head, but I know a majority of them. So that green book helps a lot, and if you want to disable it, just hit it again, and then you got your regular crafting table. Anyways, sorry for some of the stuttering and falling on top of my words. I have a tethered tongue, and if you don't know what that means, it means when the skin underneath your tongue is still tied together, it makes speaking really fast, like I tend to do, hard. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. I hope this helped you out immensely with your Minecraft journey. And this is for long-term worlds only. So if you're looking to speedrun through the game, don't really have a tutorial yet for that, but I could. I could in the future. Who knows? Maybe I'll make a speed go quickly through the game tutorial. Anyways, again, please like and subscribe. It helps immensely as a small creator, especially as this is my like 10th video, something like that. And yeah, well, geez. With that being said, hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace.